The hills are alive with the sound of F1. Hello everybody and welcome back to my F1 23 My Team Career Mode campaign. Season 4, Round 7. This is the Austrian Grand Prix. One-shot qualifying and it is a sprint weekend too. We've had another upgrade thrown on the car. So we should be moving that much closer to Williams and I'm hoping the upgrade has done the trick round here. But first things first. It's one-shot quali, and we've got to make sure we get it right. We didn't get that first corner right, and we've lost quite a bit of time. But it's fine, because we got time to make it up here. So let's just try and do what we can to make it up for the rest of the lap. And so far, that wasn't too shabby. That really actually worked out for us. And we're currently looking at a top 3. And I'm hoping we can stay within that sort of area. Because I think we could be quite good here. I think we could be quite competitive. And someone needs to slow down Lando Norris at the moment. Because right now, the championship momentum and everything it entails is all with him. As we head towards the middle part of this season. Norris looking at being on pole. I'm trying to dethrone that. But I think it's going to take quite a lot to dethrone Norris from pole. I think Lando just has it. But you know what? We're going to be on the front row for the sprint race. That is P2. That is a solid lap. And now we are in the fight for this sprint. We are well and truly in the fight. That was a brilliant lap.
It's time to remind ourselves once again of our top 3. Norris, Joker and Max Verstappen. We'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Joker completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Drugovich, Helga, Sainz, Doohan, Stroll, Albon, Théo Pourchaire, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Joe, Gasly, Leclerc, Sargent, Ocon, Ricciardo, Liam Lawson, Magnussen and Frederick Vesti. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Right then, we've got 8 laps of a sprint race to try and get ahead of Norris. If not, get a strong position for the Grand Prix. Try and get some points out of this one. We are underway and it's a good start by Norris. He's going straight to cover the inside. I'm going to head to the outside, see if there's anything to be gained. There isn't, but look at this. Norris not getting away from the first corner at all. And we're going to go wheel to wheel up the hill here. Is there a way through? No. Norris, though, going defensive. And I'm trying to go around the outside. Side by side and round the outside and into the lead of the sprint race we go. Leading the way at the first lap here in Austria. And we have taken the lead of the sprint race. The first time all season that we've seen a clear track in front of us because we're leading. And Lando Norris demoted to second, but we lead the sprint race here in Austria. Such scenes. Norris is now going to be trying to get back at us, but right now we are P1. That is where we want to be as we come to the end of this first lap. And Norris is going to be desperate to find a way through. But look at that. End of first lap and we are leading. That is our first lap lead of the season. And hopefully the first of many. But it's going to be a tough run to win this one. And Norris is going to come at us as soon as the DRS is activated. But right now we're going to try and hold on to this P1. And that is a massive battle going on behind us. That looks like Sainz and Co. all squabbling. Let's have a little look at that. because I want to see that little battle, because it just looked like there were so many cars getting involved here. Yeah, this is our teammate Carlos Sainz having a go at a very fast starting Red Bull, which I believe is Jack Doohan. And Sainz trying to go down the inside, no way through there. I really just wanted to have a look at that. And Drugovich is down in 7th, so it's miserable for Williams at the moment. But it's very, very good for us as we now put our claim on this sprint race. And of course there are still a few laps to go in it. But right now it's looking very, very nice for us. End of lap 2. And it's Dennis Hauger in 5th, so the Red Bull is holding the battle up further. And Hauger is looking at getting a top 5 in this sprint. We've got another fastest lap, but Norris is going to have the DRS here, which means Norris is going to be very, very quick, which is why I'm using as much overtake as I can. Just basically drain the battery as we come on the 3rd lap. And in fact, the whole top 5 has gotten so clear of the battling Red Bull and co. Sainz has got past, and I think Hauger is on for another strong result in this sprint. There's still a few laps to go. And look, we've cleared DRS from Norris. We've cleared it. We are down the road, and we are doing nicely here. But, well, Norris closing in by a few tenths there. So not quite getting it done. I'm really trying, though, to get clear of that, because if we can get clear of that, we can try and get a win in this sprint race. And if we can get a win in the sprint race, who knows what could be ahead of us here. We've taken on fresh components, and it's working for us. But there's Lando Norris. He's now really upping the ante. That Williams is very, very fast. And we're just going to have to be faster at this stage of the race. It's lap 4. We're leading. Norris is 2nd. And I'm trying just to keep a cool head about that, because it's been so long in this career mode. It's been nearly half a season since we've had an actual lead of a race. So to finally have that back, it feels good, and I want to protect it. But the gap is now half a second, so Norris is making his charge now. And we're going deep. Russell is also struggling to keep up. Here comes Norris, so Norris really making his charge known there. And Norris takes the lead then, but he's made a mistake, because he's now got past us right before we have DRS, and I'm not going to pass him here. I'm going to be smart about this. We're going to wait this one out. Lando goes tight anyway, but we're going to be up the hill with another slot of DRS. This time I think we are going to be past Lando Norris. Here we go, side by side, into turn 3, and we're on the outside, and we just dance around the Williams. Lando Norris demoted back to 2nd as we take the lead back of this sprint race. I want this one. I really want this one. Even if it is only a sprint race, that really does change things in the championship for me. At this stage, oh, taking a bit of gravel there. That's going to compromise me as Lando Norris gets ready to attack once again. But for now, we are looking good. And there's 3 laps left after this one. Can we just hold on? There's Norris. It's 3 tenths of a second now. And Verstappen is within 7 tenths. And the pressure is on. I think Norris may have gone a bit deep there, and that's allowed Max Verstappen a look at him. And I think Verstappen is going to get past Norris here. And if these two can just keep battling, that'll work fine for me. As Verstappen tries to get past Norris, these two are running side by side. But you know what? Keep doing that, lads. I'm going to try and get clear. Although not by taking a line like that. That's not going to help things. And I believe they're still side by side. I still believe they're going for it. But I think Max might have backed out of that one now. And Norris really going for it. He does not want to fall behind Max, but that's allowed us half a lap of breathing space to sort of not push too hard. And obviously, the other thing I don't want is Verstappen to pass Lando and grab the win. So if I can just keep Lando there, it makes it very difficult for Max too. So I think Lando made a mistake last time there. Right, 2 laps to go. This sprint race is very short, but at the moment Lando is set to finish second. Although that's very tight in there for us, but that works too, as Lando is still half a second shy of us, and I think right now we're just doing enough. We are doing everything we need to keep the Williams behind, and Verstappen is getting ready to have a go too, so that's again the last thing we need. Oh, that's another line I don't need to be taking. Right, how's Lando out of the corner? He's really got to launch. He's got to launch. I'm going to let him go, though. I'm going to let him go because then we get the DRS. That works out for us. The Lando through, and he'll begin the last lap in the lead. But we've got DRS working to our advantage here as we begin the last lap. It's going to have to be up the hill that we do him. And Lando getting a better exit there than I'd hoped he would. But this now sets it up for the grandstand finish of the sprint, going for the lead round the outside of Lando Norris. Oh, I've got a bit deep, but you know what? We're going to get such a nice exit out of 3, and we retake the lead on the last lap of this sprint. This has been a hard battle all the way through, but I think we're just about going to hold on to it. Half a lap to go now, and I've got both Norris and Verstappen chewing at my rear, and these tyres are feeling less than best. If Lando's going to do anything, it's going to have to be here. We're using overtake. Norris is going to go around the outside of the final corner. Is he going to make this work? Norris does make it work. Unbelievable! On the final lap, Lando Norris round the outside, taking the victory.
Yes, and that's a podium.
Oh, we were so close to winning that sprint, but still.
That, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
The thing is, if I'd have broken any later and gone for it, I might have hit him and spun or lost a wing or lost out, so I'd rather take the points for second than lose them attacking too hard and making a mistake. Oh, that is gutting. But Lando Norris taking the sprint race win. And what a drive that was for him too. We get second place though, equaling our best result of the season. And a fine sprint. Max Verstappen gets third. Then it's Russell. Dennis Hauger in the top 5 again. You cannot keep this guy away. And then it's Drugovich, Sainz and Stroll, your final point scorers. And that just helps Lando extend in the championship. But some handy points there for us. Move us closer to Stroll. And that's my first target in the standings, Lance Stroll. How will the race go? And I tell you what, if it's 25 laps of that, sign me up.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve. It was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 meters above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Joker completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Hauger, Drugovich, Sainz, Albon, Joe, Doohan, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Théo Pourchaire, Gasly, Sargent, Liam Lawson, Leclerc, Stroll, Vesti, Ricciardo, Magnussen, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Oh, let's talk about Joker. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment.
So here we go in Austria. We had such a strong sprint, but let's try and keep that up now. Let's get after Lando Norris. Why Verstappen is on hards, I do not know, but whatever. And we are underway in Austria. Norris is away okay. He goes to cover. Same positions then as we were in the sprint. Norris down the inside. Verstappen, Russell having a bit of a scrap there, but Russell keeps ahead. Keeps behind Verstappen, sorry, but up the hill they go. We're trying to catch up to Norris, no way through there, but there might be a way through into the hairpin as we go wheel to wheel with Norris. No, Norris covers. Can we try and displace him? Norris again covering as we try and go around the outside. I meant to say Russell staying behind Max Verstappen as we stay behind Lando Norris. So at the moment your top five is Norris, myself, Verstappen, Russell and Hauger, and Max Verstappen on those hard tyres. I'm not sure what he thinks he's achieving with that. He's just going to lose time. But it's myself and Norris up front at the moment as I'm really trying to stay with this Williams. I believe this is our best chance all season to really come at this Williams, to really come after Lando Norris. Right, out of the first corner. And Verstappen is going to have the attention of George Russell behind him. But we're now going back after Lando Norris. Again, I'm going to try and do something into turn 3. Look how much better traction we get out of the right-hander. And we're tired of looking at that rear wing of Lando Norris. So we're going to try and go around the outside. A second time we're attempting this move. But this time we have danced around the outside. And for the first time in a full-length Grand Prix, we have taken the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Like we led in the sprint, we now lead in the feature. And it's lap 2 coming up to complete it. And Norris might try going around the outside of the final corner. Norris has got us back. He had great momentum out of there. And we've had to back out. But we're going to have the advantage of DRS this lap. So that's going to make things interesting. Norris sets the fastest lap. We're right behind him. And this time, I have DRS helping me out as we come up the hill. Overtake activated. DRS activated. Attack on Norris activated as we try and go around the outside. Are we going to make that work? We just do. And Norris nowhere to go, and Russell moves up ahead of Max Verstappen. But we have taken the lead back of the Austrian Grand Prix on lap 3. This is such a great battle. We've had multiple changes of the lead already. It changed on lap 2, then it changed back, and now it's changed again. And you know what? If we've got 22 more laps of that, how exciting is that going to be? Of course, I'd love to win this race. I'd love to drive off into the distance, but I want to give you guys an exciting race too. So, it looks like we're going to be doing the latter as Norris is staying with us, and our pace is looking pretty good. We've set a fastest lap of the race. And Norris is within 2 seconds. He may have a go up the hill. What's he going to do? He's right there. Is he going to have a go? I think he is. We're going to make him go to the inside. I think it going to the outside might be the advantage. But Norris gets past us and then brake tests me just a little bit. But we've got DRS down this straight. Attack on Norris then as we go down the inside of 4. That's not going to work. He's going to up and under me here. And Norris getting that lead back. What an intense battle this is. And I'm not going to let this go easy. I want this win. But Norris is getting clear of me here. And that's not what I need. I need to stay within DRS. And at the moment we are still within that. So I'm going to get a couple of chances to get the lead back. It's not over yet, but it's going to be very difficult. if we can't get back at him. Right, here we go. First DRS zone. We get to within about 6/10. That's good. Now we need to get a good run up the hill. That's what we're doing. Again, the gap coming down. And Verstappen's having another go at Russell, so I wonder if the hard tyres are just beginning to work for Max now. I don't know. Our tyres are seemingly working for us. We got DRS on Norris, but we're not going to be close enough to attack. And we've just got to wait this one out, I think. We're definitely very evenly matched here. And I think, even though Norris is just edging it, I think we have the ability to really make him sweat just a little bit throughout this Grand Prix. I'm not giving up easy. This is lap 5, and the battle is well and truly on. Verstappen has got clear now of Russell, and the battle here resumes for the lead. Right, DRS open here. I don't really want to use too much of my overtake, but we didn't really catch Norris in the way I thought we would down there. But this is going to be an up the hill. Overtake deployed, and I don't think we're going to get him up the hill either. I think it's going to be into 4 that we've got our best chance. Braking as late as I dare. Getting such a great run out of the corner. Here we go then, it's time to attack Lando Norris once again. He's going to cover the inside. I'm going to go to the left. We go side by side into the hairpin. And Norris just about edging it. I'm going to try and up and under him here though. Norris giving me the run side by side into the left-hander. And we've got a bit too deep. And Norris holding on to the lead. Really having to work for it. This is a serious battle for P1. And I am not giving up that easy. Norris wants this win, but so do I. But this is just proving one thing. We are back, and we mean business.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap. Well done.
Here we go again then, up the hill. We're trying to attack Norris. We're not using overtake just yet, because I think 4 is our best bet. Braking a bit later, Ricciardo is out of the race. And look how close we are to Norris again. We're going to have a nice run towards the end. Norris covers. We're going to the left. Side by side into the hairpin. Norris, is he ahead? No, it looks like we're just going to edge him. And we're still side by side. Heading to the left-hander here. I'm going to brake a bit later. And Norris still keeping round the outside. And Norris just holding on to the lead. Norris is just hanging on here, and he is going to be screaming in his helmet for anything that might help him. The pressure is well and truly on him as we use all the circuit and a bit more. And you know what? I think we might be able to have a go up the hill this time. I think this time round, if we can try and get him up the hill, unsettle him a bit, we might be able to do it. But I don't think we're going to be close enough. I think once again, it's about having a go into 4 and getting a good run out of 3. And that's what we've done. Not quite as good as what we've had before. Not quite as close, but still close enough. Are we going to be able to have a go? I think it's going to be down the inside this time. We have a go. We've gone deep. And Norris retakes that one. That was inevitable. It was worth a shot, but we weren't going to make the corner there. And the best thing we can do now is try and stay within the DRS zone. Thing is, I don't want to go for an undercut, because then he's going to have much better tyres to go to the end of the race. So I don't want to lose out on an undercut, gain on an undercut, if it just means he's going to be quicker until the end. We've got to work this one. We've got to be patient with this one. It's lap 9 of 25, and Norris has now broken free of DRS, so we have attacked very hard very early. And I tell you what, Sainz is on hards as well. I'm not quite so sure on that strategy call, but he's got past Hauser. He's moved up to 5th, and Carlos running quite strongly at the moment. But there's Lando Norris just over a second ahead. and the race calms down for now. But I think we haven't seen the end of this one yet. I'm still determined to get after Lando and make him sweat. He is pulling away. He's now 1.4 ahead. What's the pit strategy time? Lap 12, okay. So we're not stopping anything before lap 12. But by then, Lando could have pulled out a couple of seconds. So I think at the moment, we need to try and nurse these tyres and not lose out to Norris. That's the plan. Norris currently 1.7 ahead, so he is clearing off a little bit now. And that's really what he would have wanted to do. That's what we don't want, Norris clearing off, but that's what he is doing. And Verstappen is getting close to us, so I really don't want to give Verstappen a chance at having a go at getting into this race. But Verstappen just edging his way towards me. And we have gained a couple of attempts on Norris on the straight, so that's good news for us. But right now, we just need to focus on trying to keep a certain gap to Norris that we can bring down and launch on an attack later in the Grand Prix. It's been an intense battle so far, but Williams has just held it, and now we are going to have trouble from Verstappen behind. But I'm hoping that we don't lose too much time fighting him, and hoping that we can stay with Lando relatively. This is the closest we've been to race-winning form, and at the moment Verstappen is going to have a go. He is going to have to try one up the inside. He's got the room. And look at that, we've lost time fighting him. And Verstappen not able to do anything, but we are losing time fighting him. And that's the last thing we want. We want to try and get back up towards Lando Norris if we can. So we're in a bit of a static stage of the race now where we're just managing. And it says pit on lap 12. I'm pitting this lap. I don't want to hold things up here. I want to go after it. It might be a one lap undercut, but I think it'll be worth it. Right, Verstappen trying to go down the inside. Is he pitting in? I think he is. Yes, he is. Verstappen pitting with us. So he's thinking the same thing. He was probably thinking undercut us. I'm thinking undercut Lando. Right. This is where things start getting interesting now, because everyone on hards is now in the pits. We're pitting in, taking on a set of mediums to attack to the end of the race. And the good news is we're still ahead of Verstappen. Unfortunately, however, we are going to have a little bit of traffic to navigate. But that's no issue for me. Right, let's go. We've got Zhou and Pourchaire ahead. What can we do about them at this stage? Hope that we don't get a red flag that ruins the race for one. That would be horrible. If the red flag were to come out now, I think I'd cry. Because we've done so much to get where we are in this Grand Prix. I would just despair that everything we did to try and displace Norris is over like that. At the moment, there's no such things to worry about. But what we are worrying about is the fact that Pourchaire is holding me up here. And I need to get past this Red Bull. Is he defending or is he pitting? I think he's pitting. And Max Verstappen smashed into him! That's the virtual safety car out because Max Verstappen whacked into him. Let's have a replay. So there's Verstappen. I'm attacking Pourchaire. Gone round the outside. Pourchaire just goes erratic and weaves into the path of Verstappen. Oh, he's going to be fuming about that. Max would be fuming at that. What was Pourchaire doing? I do not know. But Max's race coming to an end in highly dramatic fashion. Let's have a slow down look now. So we've gone round the outside. Pourchaire, look, going to turn into the pits. And then, correct, goes out wide, jams on the brakes. And Verstappen with nowhere to go but straight into him. And that's an instant retirement. And you know what? We're losing out thanks to that because it's a virtual safety car. And George Russell is now ahead of us. So Russell is now ahead of us in this Grand Prix. And that has not worked out at all. Oh, luck is definitely playing a part in our championship this season, that's for sure. But drama here in Austria as Max Verstappen out of the race. It's a second retirement in a row for him. And I think now we've got Lando Norris pitting in, or whichever the other Williams is. I think that might be Drugovich. The virtual safety car is in. It's back to racing speeds. First things first, I'm dealing with George Russell. Wow, that was some high drama, wasn't it? Right, Zhou Guanyu and the McLaren now pit. And it's now time for me to deal with George Russell, who is directly ahead of me. Problem is, he's got a nice bit of DRS for the trouble. And look at that, Lando Norris, because he was able to pit under the virtual safety car, is 5 seconds clear of me. So that has ruined my day as we now attack George Russell to the outside. Are we going to get past him here? Russell holding out, but we're not wasting time with him. We've got past George Russell and into the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix. Not into the lead, sorry, into what I think will be a net second in this Austrian Grand Prix when Felipe Drugovich makes his pit stop. And I'm surprised Drugovich didn't make a pit stop under the virtual safety car, because that's going to cost him. And you know what? We've gained about half a second on Lando Norris, so this Grand Prix is still on here. I'm definitely going to charge because I feel robbed. And we didn't waste time behind George Russell. That'll be a net second for us. Russell will move up to third, so a potential podium for him if he can hold on to that position. We've set a fastest lap, and now I'm charging towards Norris. Now we can begin a real charge here to try and get this race win. I want this win. Verstappen is out of the race. That is going to really hurt him in the championship. But right now, we're not thinking about the championship. We're thinking about this one race that I want to win. And Lando Norris is now 2.9 seconds ahead. So we are gaining on him. And we're really starting to put the pressure on Lando, who has won 4 times this year, if I've guessed that correctly, with Drugovich and Stroll being the other winners this season. I really want to add my name to that list. We've had 3 winners. I want to become the 4th. Russell will start dropping back now, but this is it. This is a charge that I'm trying to put on to get after Lando Norris. The gap now 2.9 seconds. It has come down, but Norris is doing everything he needs to right now, and we've gone very deep out of 1. That won't help us. That's how hard I'm pushing to try and catch Norris. But I think Norris may have taken a couple of laps to bide his time. And oh, that's not going to help us either. We've made a mistake out of 4. And Drugovich now moving ahead of Carlos Sainz. So Drugovich is fighting his way forward after what's been a dreadful day for him. All the contenders but Norris having awful days. Verstappen's out of the race. Drugovich is out of the top 3. But this is Lando's day seemingly. And this is our day to make our mark in the championship. But at the moment we're not quite catching Norris at the rate we want to. Dipping a wheel on the gravel as well. This could get quite frustrating because Norris has got really good pace. And unless we get a full safety car, I think Lando Norris might just have this one covered. But there's still 9 laps to go.
Teammate behind is 8.9 seconds.
Sainz is over 8 seconds behind. I'm not really worried about him in this race. Look at Dennis Hauger up in the top 4 though. Hauger having an incredible season. He's really, really impressive. Is our season 2 teammate. And I'm just saying, if I was needing a new teammate for career mode after Carlos leaves, I'd be looking at that performance and just thinking to myself, what could he do with a better car? But I think Hauger is happily placed there. Meanwhile, we're trying to bring this gap down to Lando Norris, but Norris is just doing everything he needs to do, and he's quite comfortable at the moment. Russell's dropping back from us now. He's 3 seconds off, and I think he'll be a little bit disappointed there. I think he would have hoped for P2, but P3 would still be a great result for us. We've still got a few laps left to go in this race. Norris, though, still 2.8 seconds ahead. But this is encouraging race pace because we're doing similar times to Lando. So this is encouraging for us because it means now that the upgrades that we've been applying are starting to move us forward in the way we want to be. But we're not quite there yet in terms of beating him. But that is coming. And speaking of coming, Drugovich is moving up to 4th place ahead of Hauger. Hauger trying to hold on to it though. But I think Drugovich will inevitably have that place. And Drugovich doing a great job to try and recover his Williams to a podium. Hauger's not letting that go easily, but I think Hauger has just had to let that go. And now we head towards the end of another lap and towards the closing stages of this Austrian Grand Prix. It's been a bit of a thrill ride to say the least. We've had a warning there for track limits.
The pace is strong, but be aware.
It's been a good battle, but I do think Lando here might just have this covered now. All he needs to do is just not throw it off the road, and then he's got it won. But he threw it off the road in Bahrain, so there is still hope. But he's done a brilliant job as Lando, hasn't he? He's really moving to Williams for this season after being with McLaren. Lando has certainly understood the assignment and really upped his game, and he's putting in a great championship fight in this alternative F1 universe. And Lando Norris putting himself in the pound seat to become world champion. But you know what, this Grand Prix isn't over yet because I've just gained a couple of tenths on Norris, and I'm not giving up just yet. There is still life in this race yet. Russell, however, has fully dropped back. He will have to accept P3 at best, and that's if Drugovich doesn't get him. We're still charging towards Norris. 2.6 is the gap. 2 tenths gain. Again, there are positives to take from this. Even if the best we can do is P2, there are so many positives to take from this. But a much stronger showing, sprint and race, and we're looking at getting a nice P2. But it's our exit out of 3 that is really where we're gaining the time on Norris. It has to be said. That is where we're really making the difference. There'll be 5 laps to go when this one finishes, and Norris still 2.3 ahead, so it's close, and the pressure is definitely on, and he can't afford one wrong move, but you have to say, still the favourite to win. We've now got 5 laps to go. What can we do about Norris? Are we going to be able to do anything about the Williams? 2.2 seconds is the gap. 5 seconds is the gap to Russell, and Drugovich is really closing in on him. So I do feel like Drugovich might have a go at that. Oh, we've gone wide at 4 again. But we've gained in doing that. However, I would be inclined to not do that so often, but we just about get away with it. But we are pulling ourselves closer to Norris, and I can see that Williams getting ever bigger. This race isn't over yet, there's still a couple of laps to go, but Russell's pulled back whatever we gained. Not Russell, sorry, Norris pulls back what we gained on that lap. And he's just thinking, you know what, if you're coming after me, go for it. I'm giving it everything. And we're giving it everything and going over the limit there. And that might just put pay to the charge as Norris gains a couple of tenths, but it's not over yet. Oh, going deep into one, that's not helping. I think on this one I might just have to wave a white flag and say, GG's Lando. He has the edge, doesn't he? He does have the edge. He has the advantage of having the gap as well. I do think if it was a case of not having a VSC because of Verstappen, this could have been a very different race. But again, you can go through all the what-ifs until you're blue in the face. They don't change anything. It's what actually happens that matters. And the race pace here has been very encouraging. It's pretty much been on par with Norris. And like I said, I think if we hadn't had the virtual safety car, I feel like we would have been in a very good position to at least be attacking Norris. Whether we would have got past him or not, we'll never know now. We have a little bit of traffic coming up though, so I wonder if that's going to cause any last minute drama. I don't think it will. I think we are pretty much set in our finishing position here. I think the top two are locked in, and I think Lando Norris is going to come away from this one very happy man as we come towards the end of this Grand Prix. But I tell you what, Norris was held up a little bit there by that traffic, and I don't think he's going to be appreciating to the extent he was. And who's that we're lapping? It's Pierre Gasly in the Ferrari. We're lapping a Ferrari in this race. That is depressing, considering that, you know, last season they were winning races. They won in Austin last season, and we struggled to catch them after they got a 1-2 there. Here they are being lapped. A season changes everything here. And Gasly not very inclined to let us go, but he does let us go. And now Norris has got another car. Your heart's got to go out for Pierre there. Your heart's really got to go out for him. And Norris laps Evan Magnussen. And Drugovich is now charging towards Russell. Is Russell going to hold on to the podium? I think he'll find that one very difficult. But he could still do it. We've got a lap to go in this race. And Lando Norris is looking poised to win it as we come up to start the final lap. It's been an exciting race. But in the end, there can only be one winner. And that winner here is Lando Norris. It was an exciting first half of the race with the battles. The second half of the race has been us trying to catch him. And of course we had huge drama in Max Verstappen dropping out of the race. Nobody saw that one coming. And Felipe Drugovich, I think, has taken George Russell for third. So it's not going to be quite be the podium for Russell yet. But he'll be hoping for one soon. Meanwhile, we're on the last lap. We're about to lap Magnussen. And Norris pulling away rapidly now. So Norris, obviously, I think he's going for a fastest lap. I don't know whether he'll take it. But it's still a very positive drive for us. Our race pace was definitely close. We gave Lando an attack. We gave it our best shot. Unfortunately, the virtual safety cars did not work out for us. We had to overtake George Russell on track. But still a very, very positive weekend for us as we grab a very nice haul of points. But it's Lando Norris once again that cannot be stopped, winning the Austrian Grand Prix. But it's P2 for us and a podium. The sprint top two is the same as the feature. Some great points scored. I'm very happy with that.
A nearly flawless performance here then, and a commanding victory. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
It's another masterclass for Lando Norris and 5 wins out of 7 races. He's going to be very hard to stop moving forward. Let's scroll across to the feature results. There you have it, Lando Norris winning. We get second and a fastest lap, so we secure a very decent haul of points. Drugovich manages to get on the podium again, and George Russell, great drive for him in P4. Great points for him. Sainz is 5th, Hauger, again, you cannot keep him out the points, in P6, Piastri 7th, Stroll 8th, Alex Albon getting more points for McLaren in 9th, and Théo Pourchaire rounding out your top 10 here. But what a drive that was from us. We really gave it our best shot, and look at our fastest lap time in relation to Lando's, 1.2 quicker. There's definitely pace in the car, and I definitely think we have the potential to really fight. It's a good result for Sainz as well in P5, so great points for the team, especially on a day where the team in second, Mercedes, really struggled to score. Let's have a look at how that affects the standings, and just look at that. Lando Norris is now 21 points clear of his teammate Drugovich, and 41 clear of Verstappen. So Max in the last 2 races has gone. He led the championship coming into the Spanish Grand Prix, and in the last few races he has well and truly lost it and fallen really far off, and it's just an indication of how much Formula One can change in just a matter of a couple of races. But Verstappen is 3rd, Stroll is 4th. We're still in 5th, but we're catching both Mercedes in the standings now. Sainz is 6th, another solid job for him. Russell pulling clear of Hauger after outscoring Dennis Hauger in this race. But take nothing away from Hauger, who's having an incredible season at Alfa Romeo this year. Piastri is 9th, Yuki Tsunoda rounding out the top 10 in your standings. And then Pourchaire, Zhou, Doohan and Albon coming up next. And then it's Sargent, Leclerc, your final point scorers. Williams now marching ahead in the Constructors. And like I said, especially on a day where Mercedes barely scored, Stroll didn't get a great result either. And we have closed in on Mercedes. And Alpine just getting a couple more points clear of Alfa Romeo. But that fight is still very much on, as is the fight for 6th with McLaren and Red Bull. Haas and AlphaTauri still 8th and 9th, and Ferrari and Aston Martin yet to score. 7 races, no points for Ferrari. That is depressing. And I think there might be some mid-season changes coming after the British Grand Prix, which is the next race. Thank you for watching this instalment of Career Mode. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from me. And until the next time, I've been Joe, TTFN guys, ta-ta for now, take care.